Number 2 says simplify the following expression. So we'll start with part A. So we've got x cubed, y squared in a bracket raised to the power of 2. So we are going to apply the law of indices, whereby we have to multiply the powers. So specifically the one that is encircled in red, that's the power rule, okay? Powers raised, so we multiply the powers, and that's what we're going to use to expand x cubed, y squared, all raised to the 2. So therefore now 3 to the 6, so we've got x raised to the 6 times y raised to the, that would be 2 to the 4, over 5x to the 5 and y to the 6. X to the 5 times y to the 6. Now we've got to use another law of indices, which is the one whereby you've got to subtract the powers. And this would be this one right here. So we've got to subtract 6 minus 5 and 4 minus 6, because we are dividing. So that would be x raised to the 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5, that would be 1. And y raised to the 4 minus 6. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Now, once your power is 1, you don't really have to write the 1. And if your power is a negative, then there's another rule whereby you can put it as a reciprocal and it becomes a positive, and x will remain as a numerator because there's a times going on there. So that will be x times 1 over y squared. So that will be x divided by y raised to the power, because we have a negative index of negative 2, so we're applying this one there right now. So we apply, to simplify this expression, we applied 3 laws of indices. Powers raised, dividing, you subtract the powers, and negative powers, you find the reciprocal. So let's move on to part B now. Looking at part B, we've got the square root of x times y to the 4. Now the square root of x can be written as x raised to the 1 over 2 by applying this rule right here. So we are going to apply this law of indices to convert the radical sign to a fractional power. Now, there's a 1, there's a 2, there's always a 2. If you don't see any value, there's a 2 outside of the radical sign, and the power of x is 1, so that'll be 1 over 2. And the same applies as the denominator. So let us do that. So we are going to have x raised to the 1 over 2, y raised to the 4, divided by both x and y raised to the 1 over 2 in the denominator. So we have x raised to the 1 over 2 times y raised also to the 1 over 2. And all of this now in a bracket raised to the power of 3. That's what happened in the denominator. So now we are going to apply powers raised rule to expand this bracket that we are going to multiply by these powers. So for this expression, so far, we have applied 2 laws of indices, the one with fractional powers and the one with powers raised. So our numerator will remain the same for now. But in the denominator now, we're going to have x raised to a half times 3. A half times 3 is 3/2. And the same goes for y raised to the 3/2. So now we are going to apply the rule whereby we are going to subtract the powers, okay, so that we can further simplify the expression. So we're going to have x raised, so a half minus 3/2. So we're taking out a half from 3/2. Now 3/2 is actually 1.5. So we're taking out a half subtract 1.5. So that would be -1. And 4 minus 3/2. So we're taking out 1.5 from 4. So if we're taking out 1.5 from 4, okay, so that will give us 2.5. And 2.5 can be represented as 5/2. So we've got y raised to 5/2. Now, we can now apply the negative indice power rule, negative indice law, to convert x to the -1 to 1/x and y to the 5/2 and reapply the radical sign. So as can be seen, we have applied 3 rules here. So now we're going to apply the radical sign. So y to the 5/2, so that will be y, and we're going to apply include the radical sign. So the numerator will become the power, and the denominator now will be the value of the radical sign. But because it's 2, then we don't really have to write the value of 2. So you can just put the square root of y raised to the 5 divided by x. So that will be the simplification of this expression by applying the laws of indices. For this one, we applied 3 laws: the negative indice law, the powers raised law, and the radical sign or fractional indice law.